Welcome everyone, I'm admitting everyone. So I just want to go ahead and get started. My name is Candace Adams. I'm the Associate Director for Access and Inclusion here at the University of San Francisco, and we are so excited for you all to join us today. You don't have to keep your videos on if you do not want to. You're more than welcome to turn your video off, but if you would like to show your face, we would love to see you all, but it's definitely not required. Today we have a nice presenter who's able to share so much information for you all. And I just want to take a moment to introduce her so she can get started because I know we're kind of pressed on time. But Dean Shauna Milazzo is the Associate Vice Provost and Dean of Student Academic Success at USF. She oversees CASA, Center for Academic and Student Achievement, Disability Services, and the Learning Center. She's an advocate for student success on the USF campus and is looking forward to meeting and working with you all soon. Without further ado, Dean Shauna Milazzo.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Yeah? Candace, can you hear me?
Yes,
Great.
I can hear you.
Awesome. Welcome everybody to our strange and fun virtual environment today. I'm so thrilled that you could be here. I see a few of your faces. I see a lot of names. And my background is not exactly where I am. I'm in my lovely home, but this is a background of San Francisco. And for those of you in the area, if you know the Salesforce Tower, it's one of the largest buildings in the city, and this is a view from it. I happened to be up there a while ago. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so thrilled that you can make this virtual time today to hear a little bit more about student resources at the University of San Francisco. And as Candace said, you know, I oversee our Center for Academic and Student Achievement, and I also the Student Disability Services and our Learning Center, which does tutoring, also rolls up to me as well. They have their own directors, but I oversee that area within the Division of Student Life. And today I'm going to share some slides with you and just give you a little bit more background and information about what we do to support students at USF. And I look forward to, Candace will be moderating if you have questions at the end as well. So one thing I will note is I've been at USF for 20 years, and I'm passionate about working with students, and all the staff and everyone actually at USF that I've interacted with over the years is really passionate about student support and student services and making sure that we create an environment that really fosters students' growth and well-being. And obviously you're there to be educated by great faculty in one of the best cities in the world. So, you know, I'll just preface it that I love where I work and I love working with students. So we're so thrilled to kind of have you here today. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my presentation. If we can just give me a second here. And so again, can you all see my screen? Let me know if not. Cool. So welcome, here's my name and my information. And I'm just gonna keep moving forward. So I want to talk a little bit about first the Center for Academic and Student Achievement, which is CASA, which if you know other languages also means home. And so really are here to work with students, as it says on the slide, from orientation to graduation. And we have a wonderful group of what we call academic success coaches who are professional staff who are assigned to each individual undergraduate student, whether you're first year, first time, or a transfer student. We're here to guide you and coach you throughout your time at USF. So from orientation to graduation. And what that means is we're helping you get connected to resources. We're making sure that you have a supportive environment that really promotes your own growth and of course the values of a Jesuit education. We really pride ourselves on the concept of cura personalis, which is a term you may hear a lot in Jesuit education. And it really means the care for the whole person. And so my staff really embody that. They go above and beyond to help students, to make sure that they know what resources are available to them, and to help them get connected to those resources. So there is a picture of most of our staff. We have about 20 administrative staff and academic success coaches. When we're on campus, we're at the University Center right above the cafeteria is where our office is. So we're in a central part of campus. And every single one of them, like I said, is really dedicated to working with students and making sure that you're able to successfully graduate from USF once you get there. I want to talk a little bit about our resources. So like I said, the Center for Academic and Student Achievement is really a resource center. We have coaches that help you. These are some of the programs I'm going to go through a little more in depth, just so you're introduced to them as a broad overview. In the summer, we have web track advising, which is really a collaboration with faculty in all the schools and colleges. Because at our campus, it's how advising works is that faculty are assigned to students as well by their major, and you would have a faculty advisor as well as an academic success coach in CASA. So the summer web track program is a program that introduces you to your major requirements and make sure that you understand kind of the nuts and bolts of how to register for classes based on your major. So you would be getting more emails about that specifically coming up soon, definitely in May or June. And CASA helps to support that process as well. Generally speaking, we have drop-in hours, and we also have appointments where we see students. So over the semester, basically you'll arrive to campus and you'll be assigned an academic success coach, and we encourage you to make an appointment to meet with them, to get to know them. It's not required that you meet with your coach, but they're a great person to get to know on campus, because we are, like I said, a small campus connected to all the different resources. And so we can help guide you to anything you may need. And so we do have dedicated drop-in hours in residence hall, as well as throughout the university. We have someone who has hours in the Gleason Library and other places on campus in the University Center as well. So we both have individualized appointments that students can make with our center, and then we make ourselves available around campus as well. And we know that it's a big transition to come to college. Or to transfer to USF from another institution. So we really have a number of different programs and supports in place to help you with that transition, so it's a positive one. We send out something called a new student success survey in the fall that really asks you some questions about how things are going, and it gives us as coaches a chance to review that information and do some specific targeted outreach to you to make sure, if you need more help with time management, if you have some other concerns, that we're connecting you, excuse me, to those resources. We also have a program called Explore Your Path. If you're undeclared and you don't have a major, that's totally okay. You can figure it out. That's, part of the process of being in college is figuring out what your major will be. And so we have a whole program, you can check it out online, about exploring different majors and your interests, and kind of guiding you along a pathway to figure out what your major might be. And if you're not sure, to kind of guide you to some places to help discern what might be a good major for you. We also have a first generation support group called Muscat Scholars and MSP 1G. It's actually it's an early program for the summer. So one component of it would be you apply to be a part of that program if you're a first generation student, and you have some intensive time in the summer to work with that cohort of students, and you have that support throughout your time at USF as well. One of our coaches, Charlene Lobo, runs that program, and she's amazing, and she's a great resource. So if you're a first generation student, we have some specific resources in place for you. We also, our PACT program, P-A-C-T, there's more information there. It's a program of mentoring and support for students of color. So if you're interested in that, I can tell you more details, or you can look it up as well to see if that might be something that you'd be interested in taking part in as well. As I mentioned, you have one academic success coach at USF, so that would be part of my team, and then in addition, a faculty advisor. So the faculty advisor is somebody in your major who would help guide you with registration questions, their expertise in their major. They'll help guide you down the road in terms of internships or graduate school, things like that. And they will really be your guidepost for connecting within your major. So there are two people at USF, and really there's a village of people who can help you, but they're the main two people in terms of guiding you on the milestones, know how many credits you need to graduate and what all the requirements are so that you can graduate on time, and using the tools that are there to support you to get to that point. I talked a little bit about how CASA can support you. And so I just want to give a few more examples of what that means. It's kind of hard that I can't see you because normally I ask, you know, how many of you are familiar with the concept of coaching or have been on a sports team, right? So you have a coach, you know, if you've been on a team. I mean, academic coaching is a little similar. We're there to cheer you on. We're there to sometimes give you that tough love. But ultimately, we're there to make sure you have the resources that you need to be successful. So again, study habits, time management skills, looking at all our campus resources from our counseling center to student disability services, to our learning, writing, and speaking center, so where you can sign up for tutoring, to all the different resources we have on campus. We're really knowledgeable about those resources and try and meet you where you are to figure out what you need and get you connected to anything that you may need during your time on campus. We connect you with your major advisor, as I mentioned, for major specific advising. We help you explore, have those conversations about if you're interested in other majors or switching your major once you start taking classes at USF. We talk about academic options as things come up along the way. If you happen to get on academic probation, we have a support program for that as well. And ultimately, we want to get to know you so that we can help celebrate with you. So you can stay in touch with our office from the first day you get on campus until you graduate. And so we can celebrate with you and know you better at the end of your journey. I do just want to highlight briefly that we have transfer student resources as well. There's actually a transfer student group called Transfer Nation. And it's an official student group, and they have their own, Instagram account, and they have more information about social events that they host, and they have other resources. They try and bring their own speakers in as well. And it's great if you are a transfer student considering USF. It's a great opportunity to connect with other transfer students to learn about their journey and to really understand how did they get connected, how did they get involved at USF. So I really highly recommend checking this out if you are a transfer student. It's a great resource. I also wanted to talk briefly about something called our Student Hub, which is the technology really behind how you can make appointments with our center and for tutoring. And it also has a number of components, as you can kind of see on the screen. It would have your classes in the calendar. It has your course schedule as well. It would have a task center, or it does have a task center where your CASA coach can send you tasks, or you can actually use a task yourself and to help you stay on track with a CASA coach. For example, if you're interested in studying abroad, or if you have questions about like I said, how to get connected to our counseling center or other resources on campus, we may send you a referral so you could go to your student hub and kind of click on that link at any time. So this is also a mobile friendly, you can get to it on our USF mobile app. And this is an easy way to make an appointment online, excuse me, with our any of our success coaches. So I'm gonna keep going here. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, there's so much more. So, you know, I'm gonna leave it to Candace to kind of see if we have more questions. But really, you know, we'd love to hear from you. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We have our contact information, or you can follow us on Instagram or check out Twitter. But basically, you know, we're here for you. We're in the offices typically 9 to 5, and we look forward to being of support. So I'll leave it there. And Candace, I'm going to kick it over to you to see if there are other questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Dean Milazzo. Does anyone have any questions? Because I've been monitoring the chat to see if we have any questions. Oh, we do have one. We have one question is it possible to do a double major?
Great question. Yes, it's absolutely possible to do a double major. It just depends a little bit. I'm going to stop sharing the video or the PowerPoint. It depends on the major. So that would be a question that we want to talk to you with your CASA coach when you arrive. Some majors lend themselves to being a double major, but you have to be mindful of how long it may take you to complete the requirements to still graduate in the 4 years as a first year student. So the answer is yes, but it just depends. It depends on what major you're trying to double major in.
Thank you. The questions are coming in. I'm excited.
Okay.
So the next question is, how can I change my major? So what would be the process for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something that would be handled either in the summer. So I know when you go through the admissions process, you probably choose a major. And if you know already, like, oh, I chose psychology and actually I'm more interested in sociology, for example, you would let someone know during the web track process, or even work with your admissions counselor right now and stay in touch and let them know you're interested in switching majors. And as long we can do that now up until the web track early registration process. And once you get registered, it's just a different process, but we can do it either way. So if you do it up until registration in the summer, we can help you with that now, excuse me, now. Or once you're registered and you decide you want to switch majors, there's something called a change of academic program form that you need to fill out.
Thank you. Another question we have is, does your advisor / coach help guide you for grad school?
Great question. I would say we can have those conversations, but really we would frame it more to help you ask your faculty advisor, because they're truly the experts potentially in that field. Or your coach may have some contacts, like for example, if you're going to pursue an MBA or pursue a master's degree in fine arts, I would say going to those particular departments on campus or going to your major advisor to ask them, your faculty advisor would really be the first best step. But the coach can help maybe guide you in what kind of questions to ask your faculty advisor. So we can coach you in that way and kind of guide you. And also career services is a great resource in kind of thinking about, okay, if I'm thinking about this career, do I need to go to grad school? What degree should I pursue? So there, you could work out kind of all those questions with your coach, but really it would probably be a faculty advisor who'd help you with the process or ideas about grad school for whatever particular subject you're interested in pursuing.
Thank you. The next question we have is, so a lot of students are interested in hearing more about the Muscat Scholars, and they also wanted to know who the contact person is and if they were able to schedule a meeting or a chat.
Yeah, absolutely. So you will be hearing more if you're a first generation student. Charlene Lobo Soriano is the contact, and maybe I can drop that in the chat if that's helpful, Candace. Would that be a good thing
Oh,
to do?
I think
So I'll do that. What? That'll be
I think
helpful?
that'll be helpful, yeah. A lot of
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. Perfect. So I can put her contact information there because she will be reaching out to first generation students to talk to you more about that program in particular. You know, there are lots of details to it, and so I'll do that now, and then certainly we can circle back with admissions if you need more information, but she's the best contact, so I'll go ahead and put that in there before we're done with our kind of session today, so you can contact her about it. Is there any specific question maybe I could help with?
No, they just asked if they were able to schedule a chat. That's
Okay.
what most of the questions are. Another question that we have is it possible to do a double minor?
That's another great question. It is possible, but again, it kind of depends on what the minor is. So some majors, let me just put it out there, you know, like a science major, say you're a biology major or computer science or data science, those majors are longer majors, more intensive majors. So I know the question's about minors, but some majors, you know, it's harder to add more than one minor just because of the amount of work that you have to do for it. But depending on what your major is, it definitely is possible to add one or two minors. It just, I would encourage a student to connect with those departments to find out, like, how does this all work? How do these pieces all fit together? There are some classes that could potentially count toward your major and one minor, but there are some limitations in how many classes can actually, like what we call double dip, and count for both a major and a minor class. But there's a lot of minors that, you know, if you're psychology and you want to do neuroscience, or there's so many overlapping disciplines that it actually does lend well to adding another minor potentially.
Okay, I have a question from a transfer student. They said for the transfer process, how does that look as far as picking what classes? Is it the same as first-time freshmen?
Good question. So for transfer students, the process is still the same. I mean, you'd be part of the summer web track advising. What would be different is that you would be sending in your, excuse me, your transcript to USF to be evaluated, and those classes that you've taken at a previous institution would be evaluated for credit and would populate a degree evaluation. So that would be the basis of a conversation with a faculty advisor to figure out which classes count for which requirements in the major. So there are definitely, for every student, but also for transfer students, there are faculty advisors who would work with you specifically to make sure you have an understanding of how many credits you could be transferring into USF and what they would count toward.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another question that we have from the audience is in terms of being able to graduate early, is that pretty common for students to graduate within 3 years?
I would say typically students do take the 4 years. I do know some students who've graduated in 3 years and graduated early, and that's great. If you're a go-getter or you transferred in AP credits, or you happen to have just a lot of credits, or you decide to take summer classes in addition to traditional fall and spring. But I'd say mainly it's students take the 4 years because there's also value in adding a minor potentially, or doing various internship programs, or potentially studying abroad. And typically if you do those things, it may take the 4 years to complete all of your requirements. But there definitely are students who do it in 3 years. So I don't have the statistics on it, but I know there definitely are some who do it as well.
For sure, perfect. And then another question that I have, is it too late to change your major in your 3rd year? Is that typical?
in your third year. So I don't know, maybe you're a transfer student, but I would say it potentially is not too late, but again, it really depends on your major. So if you're a transfer student, you have to really look at what classes transferred in and what major you want to take or transfer into and how long it might take you to complete those requirements. But at the same time, third year, it just depends. If you're an incoming student, and we recommend change a major or decide on a major kind of in your sophomore year. So once you've completed 48 credits total at USF, we want you to be able to be in the major that you intend to be in. But certainly, students change their mind. So it does happen, but it's very critical that you check in with a major department and see how it might extend your time at USF.
And last question is, can transfer students participate in the Erasmus program?
Can transfer students, that is a great question that I don't know off the top of my head. I believe so, but I'd have to get back to you. So I don't know, hopefully we're keeping this chat so that we can actually go back to it. Do you know if we are, Candace?
We're gonna follow up with the questions here in the chat. And I do see a lot of you have questions about internships.
Perfect.
As well as housing. We actually had our internships webinar this past week, which there'll be a landing page available on our website, which you all can refer to. And then we also have a housing webinar that'll be next week on April 17th at 3:45 that can answer questions specifically about on-campus and off-campus housing. So we do have some more webinars available for you all for some of the questions that you all have in here. But I think that concludes our session for today. Thank you so much for all your help, Dimalaza. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for attending. We do have another session at 3:45 for anyone who's interested in honors and has any questions about that. So please stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you. I really appreciate
so many thank yous right now in the chat.
Thank you. And I'll get Charlene's information if we keep the chat open for a minute. I'm just typing it now.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Great to meet you virtually.
Bye. Perfect.
Cool. Thank you, Candace.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Let me know if I can help with any of those questions. I know there were a lot. So if there's anything I can. Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.